Good evening. Today I'm going to be talking about the system and waking up, being present, a bit of spirituality. It's the evening right now and I don't normally make videos at this sort of time, but I felt like just doing it. I don't know, it just kind of happened. That's how things happen in life. They just occur. Not really anything to do with our free will, just it's all part of the inyon. The inyon in English would be the process, happening of things. So I realized recently that the only way to be free from the system, man, is to be present and be okay now. Be okay with who you are, right? Because you can't be monetized or controlled if you don't need anything else, if you're just chilling as you are now. Now, of course, we're human. I'm human. We all have desires, food, money, sex. Those are like the basics, right? Maybe sleep as well, I guess. There's one of them. Those are unavoidable and inescapable. And I have recognized that in myself lately. Previously I was one of those guys who was very much anti the system, trying to escape. I was very into privacy. I was very into privacy. I had a phase of it using Graphene OS, Linux, these tools, and I was very obsessive about, people harvesting my data. The people don't know, the normies don't know, man. And I was really trying to escape the system when in reality you can't escape the system because you're always reliant on money, right? So you're kind of trapped. Plus, our social needs kind of, it depends, but generally you would say we are reliant on other people, right? So you do need to cooperate a little bit. And so a little bit of conformity is okay, I suppose, or necessary, I suppose. Career takes it to another level though, here. Social conformity is just insane. I won't get too political with it, but I've just noticed in day-to-day life that people do really find it hard to think outside the box, or rather, people can think outside the box, but because of the societal pressure, the different roles, just the way the system works here culturally, people are less likely to go against the grain, which changes a lot of things. It's just quite a different experience for living in the UK. But here I am, in my modern apartment, just living my life. And I just feel like it's okay to be plugged in to the system now. It's okay to be the guy who uses his phone like a little bit too much, maybe laptop a little bit too much, internet a little bit too much. But still somewhat in control, still somewhat regulated, still somewhat alive and present and not too bad. I've stopped meditating intentionally or on a fixed schedule. And I just do it when I feel like it now, and I feel way more free in my rhythm. I suppose that's the right way of expressing it. I really enjoy having a rhythm. I'm the type of guy to just do the same thing every day. I love having things at the same time every day. Like as soon as it goes to 5:30 p.m, I'm like, okay, right, exercise. Or within that sort of window, I can be a little bit flexible. My autism is not that intense. Lucky for me, anyway. But sort of getting back on topic anyway. The system, man. It's funny when people talk about that. But we are in the system. We are conditioned from an early age in school. You're not supposed to speak out. You're supposed to be trained to be a worker, not a thinker. You are supposed to get your degree or diploma, whatever it is, to go and work and make money under someone else as their employee in the hierarchy, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Not everyone can be a CEO, a leader. I personally don't think I want to be that. I just want to be me, chill, But something to bear in mind, something to just be aware of, because it's easy to get lost in things when you're not thinking outside the box. You're not thinking, okay, is this really the right path for me? With these videos, I actually quite enjoy going more freestyle, just sort of stream of consciousness, just saying what's on my mind. A lot of YouTubers like to have beginning, middle, end, or their like hook storytelling, and then they'll CTA you at the end with a subscribe to whatever. I'm not about that anymore. I've kind of seen past where that life takes me. Like, I don't want to be a YouTuber. I would like to be someone who is present, enjoying making videos, and the result of this recording, whether it goes on the internet or doesn't, gets 1 million views or gets 0 views, shouldn't interfere with me enjoying the nap, right? So I'm just doing it now, kind of for the hell of it, I guess, for the spiritual benefits, or spiritual, not even, you can't really say benefits, but for the spiritual experiences is probably the best way of putting it. I sound a lot more like a crazy person these days when I speak to myself and when I read my journals, but I don't actually actively tell other people about spiritual awakening, non-duality, all these big topics. Like, because if you go walking around saying you transcended your ego, man, you just sound a bit egotistical, and I have no intentions of doing that, nor do I think I have actually transcended my ego, man. But I often catch myself and I laugh. I'm like, shit, yeah, I am. We all are God, just sort of putting on a mask. We're all just these personas, putting on these identities. We're playing this relative game as one absolute mind, one absolute consciousness. And it's quite funny when that happens, when you're in those moments where maybe you laugh at a meme or just something cosmic just comes out of the blue and hits you like that. It's really great to be alive in those sorts of moments. And I don't really have any magic formula for making that happen. So I guess they just kind of happens. That is kind of how life works. Shit happens. That's the whole concept of inyon, right? I keep saying inyon. I don't know the English word. Shit happening. I'm going to carry on calling it inyon for now, but everything, I'm a believer that we are in a deterministic universe. I don't really think free will exists. It's nice to behave like it does exist, but does it actually? Probably not. I don't actually know, right? So I just believe that all I am, me, George, is just this one perspective in this mind and body here, out of the billions that there are. But really, we're all connected to the source, right? That's how I feel and believe, and I've seen that, and it's changed my life. But it also hasn't changed my life in a grand way. In anything, it's made me just more normal and more baseline, which they say, Buddha, the enlightened one, is a very normal person. There's not necessarily the monk who's just reduced all desire and is seeking enlightenment, etc., or opting out of the game, because that's the problem. You can't opt out of the system fully, and by saying you're the guy who opts out, if anything, you're creating an ego, creating a persona around being the one who opts out, which kind of defeats the whole purpose of reducing identity and whatnot. So, long story short, I've realized now that authority, searching for an authority in your life is, well, not always a silly move, but you can't outsource your mode of being to anyone else, because nobody has any damn clue what's going on. You're just born here, then you'll go one day. Whether you're rich, famous, whether you're poor and drug addicted, you will go one day, and then you'll be reborn as another human being from another perspective, and life will just carry on like this. And it's really funny knowing this and just living life, because you see all sorts going on, and you notice yourself, you get caught up like, well, I would never do that, or no, I'm better than him, or these kind of thoughts pop up, and you know that they're true in the relative sense, but not true fully, because actually, if you can see what's within, you see that within someone else, and you sort of get that namaste moment, or you see, oh snap, this is one mind doing its own thing. Like, it's so funny. Like, it's just one person talking to one person the whole time. Like, if you really like zoom out on the deep abstract level, it just makes the whole thing nonsensical. So it's really funny. I say I get caught up in my ego quite a lot, but obviously there's no I to do all this shit. Yeah. But yeah, it's just interesting. It's funny. It's a weird place of life to be. Like, if you took me a few years ago and gave me all this spiel, I would probably just be like, what the hell are you talking about? You sound crazy. It's just low rubbish, which, I don't know, maybe it is, but from what I've experienced, man, I feel like there's nothing more true than this, because even with all the world religions and all different interpretations of the world, this view of non-duality kind of transcends all of that. It kind of makes sense why the world is absurd and silly, because the whole point is that it's just play, it's just have fun. It's like, imagine you had a video game and there's only the play button, there's no end, it's just constantly just play, respawn as another human kind of simulation. Maybe it is a simulation. I mean, what the hell do I know? I was listening to something earlier, Carl Pilkington, like, I know Carl Pilkington's not really the best person to be taking advice to, although I said earlier about not outsourcing any of your personal life to an authority figure. They were talking about time travel. And I think it was Ricky Gervais was saying, well, if time travel could be invented, then it will have happened, and it will have happened in the future. And so time travel would have like sort of already happened, so we would know about it basically. Or there would be things, history would have changed itself, but so clearly on that logic, time travel will never occur. And I was like, wow, damn. Okay, so maybe we are in a simulation, but time travel is impossible. So I was just going on some weird thought train like that. I don't know, man. I was just vibing out, watching some YouTube. And I recently moved into a new house. I know this is very freestyle. I just love to freestyle. I just love being that calm, chilling right now type of vibe. And this is not really what you get on YouTube. But yeah, I moved into a new house recently. I don't know if I won't dox the location, but it's near enough to my university, which is fantastic. I don't have to do long commutes anymore. I actually turned over the house today, the old house. I went to meet the broker, and it was all a bit, it wasn't sketchy, but like the guy paid me off in cash, and it was all a bit like, cash in hand type deal. I was like, okay, yeah, you have a good one then. I told him to pass on, left, and that was that. So I'm all moved in. Really beautiful place, and I'm just lucky to be alive. I'm lucky to even be born into a position that I'm privileged enough to even be here now. And I choose to be in the modern world. I've realized that Korea is pretty much like the peak of modernity. Got that word right? Internet's everywhere. Delivery is almost next day or instant sometimes. I say instant, like within an hour maybe. Technology is super advanced. Everyone is almost expected to use social media. Even my apartment right now, it's got like a interface on the wall where you can control the front door and all these gizmos. It's quite astonishing, really, to be living in that world. But also, I'm choosing to just be a normal, average guy who's okay as he is in this chaos. I used to think that I have to become a monk or being a recluse or trying to get away. I was trying to escape the system rather than sort of use the system to support me and not believe in it. I think that's the difference. The belief in it is the difference, right? Many people believe the grind. They believe the status, the roles. And people think they are their job sometimes. They literally think, oh, I'm an accountant and that is my whole identity. Like, it goes deep because you're much more than that. We are all way more than that. And if we just take the time to look within, hopefully that will appear itself to you too. I mean, there's many ways that I could express. There's many ways that I could show up. I could try to become a guru and teach other people to enlighten other people. That's not really what I'm here for. although it might sound like because I don't know the way I'm talking. I kind of would like other people to know this truth, but at the same time, who are the others, man? What's the point, right? So all I can do is just share my take on life the best I can. And in doing so, if I'm present in the process, then that's a win. You have to be present in the process. Really, that's the bottom line. I also thought about how people who are in extreme poverty, or like say someone was born in North Korea, just really bad situation, relatively speaking, versus a millionaire in the USA, let's say, top, elite member of society. The equalizer for them is presence, in my opinion. How much are they really there for life when it's happening? Of course, yes, there are differences between a life of suffering and a life of comfort. However, if you're asleep and you're not really conscious for it, is that a life lived? I mean, I suppose you're never really not awake, right? You're always awake, you just don't necessarily realize it. Like, the present is just this time that's now, and you're here for it. But often attention is in thought, not here. So it feels like you're not actually here, but really you always are awake, and really you always are in heaven, paradise, whatever you want to call it. If you just wake up, you just, oh, snap, I'm here now. Damn. Like, every experience in your life, there's always this awareness that's sort of watching it in the background, or it's just there in the background as like the container, and that is holding everything together. And you can't ever not be there, you just forget that you are, and that's the whole like forgetting and waking up pattern, which was a long-winded way of describing it, but that's something to know if you want to know anything. But there's no outcome that's really desirable beyond whatever outcomes follow from the processes you already enjoy doing. Like, for example, forcing myself to become, let's say, I don't know, a doctor or something like that would just maybe, okay, it'll make the world a slightly better place if I'm a doctor and save someone's life, right, for example. But if I hated my life doing it and I wasn't even present for it, arguably I would be better fit for another role where I'd be happy doing it, positive in my sort of demeanor, and then that would, one, make me do the role that I do better, and two, hopefully spread positive energy to other people, which is probably more of a positive win than optimizing to be someone you're not. I feel like in society we're often put into boxes, but we're supposed to specialize, we're supposed to have this one role, and that's just supposed to be who we are fully. Maybe there are people who hate their job who are doctors, and that's a good thing. I'm not saying you have to enjoy your job per se, but you can still do good things without really enjoying them. What I'm trying to say is, isn't the best life the one that you chose to live, right? If free will, whatever. The one that you do, or you be as the thing you love, right? For example, I can't help wanting to learn Korean. It just, like I said, it was the inyeon, the shit just happened. It just flowed through me one day, like, oh, I really want to learn Korean, and now I'm just obsessed with it, and I have been for years. Same thing with the gym recently. It's just been like, I can't really help not doing this. It would feel wrong not to do this, so I'm going to do it. I'm not going to force anything else anymore. I think that was the problem. Forcing things. Don't force things. That was what Lao Tzu said, right? Mui, or wu wei in Chinese. Not with that pronunciation though. Wu is the Korean term, so wu means like without forcing. Don't force it, man. Just align with the Tao, just vibe, be here now. I mean, it all comes back to the same sort of advice, right? But it's funny how it all fits together, but not forcing things does make you stress less. You're just moving through life like it's a movie, and not necessarily you're the main character, but you're on this camera that's here right now, and you're experiencing life from this perspective. And I appreciate people are going to be like, well, hang on a minute. It's easy for you to say, of your privileged position, rich white man, go F yourself, right? But yes, although that's in the relative sense of who I am. If we really look in the absolute sense of who we are, then what I'm saying is not necessarily privileged or not privileged. It's just, in my eyes, the truth, but it's just one echo in this sort of canvas with multiple strikes of paint on, and I suppose we're all just strikes of paint, if that's how you want to put it, as a metaphor. I really sound like some sort of stoner. I don't do drugs or anything like that. I don't even drink alcohol, actually. And I sound rather abstract, and I wouldn't listen to myself if it was me a few years ago. So I appreciate there's probably some viewers who are like, what the hell are you talking about? But it's just a vibe to be talking like this. Like, I really enjoy being present. I haven't actually tapped into this enough, but I figured out recently that I'm a flow type of guy. I'm a stream of consciousness type of guy. When I output, I like to be verbal, use auditory methods to convey my thoughts and what's going on inside me. Even when I write stuff, I don't have my journal next to me, but like when I write stuff, I'm writing on a page and I've got my pen, I'm like, shh. I just cannot stop writing things. I just rush it out, and which makes my writing so unclear and impossible to read. Like, I have a stack of journals in this cupboard which I never read, I've not reread, is what I say, for years. And it's just me just writing my random thoughts. And the whole point of it is, when I'm journaling, I'm there in the process. I'm like, okay, I've got it out, bam, okay, sweet. Like, the whole process is the point of it, not to record or archive. And I'm trying to let go of archiving, of expressing oneself too much, or just through mediums that don't really need it. Like, for example, people express themselves on social media, particularly in Korea. It's a huge not identity trap per se, but I guess you could say it's a trap. Like, it's performativeness for no real gain. Like, maybe there's a little bit, like, you move your position up in the attention hierarchy partially, but what the hell, like, who cares about more likes on the page when I'm going to be dead in a grave in like 70 years time, you know what I'm saying? Or, it could be 5 minutes time, who knows? Touch wood, hope that's not the case. Yeah, I've been rambling a bit, but escape the system, man. You don't actually need to escape the system. What I'm trying to say is, you can live well within the system. Meditation is great. It's a fantastic way of looking within and giving yourself the time to figure out things. Well, you don't have to force it. Just don't force it. Live inside the system. Being a normal person is totally fine. Just being okay now is the only way that they can't control you. I've never been like a conspiracy theorist guy, like, they control us. But I do feel like the system is fundamentally a little bit broken, but also great to inhabit if you see through the bullshit. So don't believe in any story. Don't tell yourself any narrative. What if you could just live life not narrating things to yourself? That would be pretty cool. That's what I recommend as the authority figure who you should ultimately trust everything and all of your life savings with. I'm joking, by the way. So just live, just be. It's okay to be plugged in. Find the middle way. Extremism didn't do me any good. Realize that now. I'm 23, 22, gonna be 23 soon. I feel like I'm 23 because of Korean age. You always have to add 1 year. So yeah, just be, man, just live in the system. It's all good. I will get back to you with another video coming straight out of the conscious mind from Seoul, Korea soon enough. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope this gave you some peace or enlightenment or something. I don't know. Goodness. Thank you. Good night.